Just set it now if you want.
And a very good afternoon and welcome to Graham Road at Aspley on the beautiful northern suburbs of Brisbane. My name is Mark Kennedy and I'm joined by Barry Gibson here in commentary this afternoon for this fantastic representative football game between South Queensland and North Queensland. It is the fifth instalment of this lovely battle. And Barry, I'd love to have you here with us. And the away side has won every contest so far in these previous four matches.
Clearly the players like and enjoy travelling.
Yeah, they do. They do. What do you see about today's contest? Obviously, you're pivotal working with AFL Queensland in this competition type sphere. What are you looking for as a competition overseer to what we're going to witness this afternoon?
I'm just really excited that both teams have got some young talent on show and their opportunity. Obviously, Aspley and Southport playing before to see some of these guys go around. And then also guys get to play with experienced players like Aaron Davey and Ron Hooper. I think it's fantastic.
Well, we're going to see how we go as the match unfolds here. Plenty of players around the contest from this first stoppage. It will be Wilson, Big Wilson and Simpson who do ruck again. It was Wilson that gets the ball away. And now it is South Queensland that get the ball going their way. It's Philo. Gets it out to the wing. And coming out to meet it there was Kelleher. That's a good start for him, the big boy from Caloundra. Goes down the line and finds Simpson. So Jacob Simpson, another boy from the Sunshine Coast, albeit from Maroochydore, as North Queensland knocked the ball out of play. And those opening exchanges, I think we can see a fast brand of football. Barry?
Yeah, Simpson's been in great form from Maroochydore this year. It's probably the best I've seen him in the last few years, and I reckon his battle with Wilson, who comes with big raps, will be outstanding.
Well, he's a fair lump of a lad, he's Wilson, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not short.
105 kilos, the boy from Port Douglas, up against a big rooster himself in Simpson as the ball stacks on the mill. Now, what are the match conditions we're playing under today here, Barry, time-wise for quarters?
Yeah, 20 minutes flat for the first three quarters, and the last quarter's 17 plus time on.
So we're going to see plenty of play there. Well done. A lovely tackle there by the North Queensland player who will get up with the ball and play on quickly. Goes looking for a target there in Wade. Couldn't find him, but coming through is that man Aaron Davey. Plenty of AFL experience. We'll talk about that as we go along. Ball over the back of the pack. 23 for North Queensland. There is Mitch Bell. And coming through there is Glass right to the teeth of goal where Chappell was the man who is going to be the focal point for North Queensland. And opposed to him was Kennedy, and he spilt the mark and hit the behind post, so we'll have a throw in right by the goals.
Huge job for Kennedy. He's only 19 years of age against Chappell, who is a 100-goal kicker for the last 3 or 4 years in Cairns. It'll be a really tough challenge for him.
So Simpson gets the ball to the back. We'll see what they can do. Jack Lake, he couldn't take it with him. Ball smothered, and that was by Wade, was the man who tried to get the kick. And the nice kick out of defence. It'll find Rowan Page. So Page just chips the ball up. That's not his best effort, I wouldn't imagine. Nice handball there from McLean. And the ball from Zufa, the captain for South Queensland. But it goes back from whence it came. North Queensland put it back to centre half forward, but it's Jack Lake with the ball. So I think we're going to see some turnovers here, Barry, as the game unfolds and players get used to each other.
Yeah, tough, particularly the North Queensland guys. Half of money met each other this morning, so they get to know their teammates.
A little bit likely for the South Queensland guys as well. And that is a fierce tackle. 2-on-1 there. Late in Garogo was Tyler Garogo. And the late out was Jordan Chapman for North Queensland.
Yeah, Chapman tied in the hamstring, so they didn't take the risk after the warm-up.
So Philo comes through, kicks it to full forward. Shollard's there. And a good goal kicker he is for Maroochydore. And he will get his first opportunity. He's been a good player, Shollard, so far this year for Maroochydore. Barry?
Yeah, he's outstanding. He's leading the goal kicking, 67 goals. He comes with big raps. He's been playing down in the Bendigo League where he's kicked a lot of goals over the last few years. So he's that hybrid type forward. He's quick on at ground level, but he's also really good above his head. So he'll present some real challenges today for North Queensland. A
little bit of an awkward kicking style at various times, but he slides that one home. And it is you'd say the home side, the South Queenslanders. They are off to a good start. And it is through the agency of Mitch Schollard.
First inside 50 for them, and they kick a goal, so they'll be happy with that efficiency rate. Yeah, interesting start for both teams. As you said, it's a bit scrappy, and I think it's going to take a while for them just to get used to the style of play. And the challenge will come a little bit later in the game, I think, as the dew sets in. It's going to be pretty chilly tonight, and the ground will get a little bit slippery, particularly in the second half. So I think this first half's really critical to who can get the ascendancy, because the conditions will be totally different in the second half.
As the shadows lengthen over Graham Road, we saw an excellent knee-full clash here before this game. North Queensland had the ball, but dispossessed was Barber. I was going to say they were going to hold on to it, but not to be. That's Lake, well tackled on that occasion by Meredith, another man with AFL experience with the Sydney Swans. Great to see players coming back from AFL level, and we've got four of them in the side in this game this afternoon, coming back and playing at this level. Ball at half forward and wrapped up.
It's fantastic for the players to get to play with guys of that ilk that have had that experience. And I know certainly the two boys that I know from Townsville, they were rapt at the opportunity to play with someone like Aaron Davey.
The ball will be thrown in half forward, commentary side of the ground. South Queensland kicking to the left of your screen, or the northern end as we know it. And that's a throw the umpire called, so North Queensland will win the free kick. And it'll be Ezekiel Frank from the Menunda Hawks. Played in the grand final of the Cairns Footy League last year. Was a very good contributor. Played at half forward. He did. The ball spoiled away. And it was spoiled away by Tyle Williams. And we'll have a throw in.
Great for these players today to knee full standard umpires, which is really good. Just shows the quality of this game and where we rank it. So fantastic players to be exposed to umpires of this ability too.
The ball back into play in just a moment. Players blocking their eyes from the sun. Simpson took front spot, but it was the big boy Wilson that just with sheer strength got there. Over the top of it was Philp, and he is one of the co-captains along with Kyle Chappell. And holding the ball as the ball's dragged in, so South Queensland will win the free kick. Might be Collings with the ball. Yes, it is. He was just about to give it to Page. The kick's not a great one. Ezekiel Frank will take the mark. He's played some experience at knee-full level with the NT Thunder. Which way will he go? Again, plenty of players calling for the ball. A little bit of a system not quite falling into place, such as the short build-up. A big fly at the back. Now Page, not sure where to go. Gives it off to Collins, and he is wrapped up. Well done there by Skip Gribben.
Bit of a Hollywood name there, Skip.
Yeah, one of the best ones, I reckon, getting around the Cairns Footy League for sure. Port Douglas Crocs. And, of course, the all-conquering Port Douglas Crocs too. They've been an absolute force up there for a few years now.
And it's their coach that's leading the NQ team today in Brad Cooper.
Yeah, and so we almost a mark right there. It was Chappell going up after it. Now South Queensland, they try and work through. It's a free kick for a throw. It'll go the way of South Queensland. Gives it off. And they'll bring it out to his commentary side yet again. Zuffa gets on the end of it. A little whisper I heard. This might be his last little foray in rep footy. Let the young men have another go at it. There was Boardman. He couldn't take it. Now North Queensland. Well done there. They held on possession, but just interjecting there was Schollard to get a hand on it and tip the ball out of bounds. So we'll have a throw in up near the North Queensland coach's box.
John's number 16 from North Queensland. He's a player that comes with a really good reputation. Moved out of Tasmania up to Cairns Saints this year and has had an outstanding year.
In fact, it was a free kick. I didn't pick that up. It was go the way of Ezekiel Frank. Big spoil from South Queensland. Might have come from the big fist of Hartley. And out of bounds we go. So these quarters will go pretty quick, without doubt. Just 20 minutes flat. So the impetus on being efficient inside forward 50 will be there, Barry, without doubt.
Yeah, we've only had 3 inside 50s total so far. So the game's been played in between the arcs at the moment.
Trying to get the way through there was McLean, and his teammate of his put it up to half forward. Kelleher couldn't take it. Ezekiel Frank's in there. Now Page now gets it across. Well done there by Holt. Just tried to keep possession. Kelleher just squeezes the handball out to Page again. Feed it through. Here's McLean. McLean has an open look at it and pulls it way to the left. Hit the behind post, so North Queensland, they can repel. Page
has been very busy early. He's an outstanding player, comes out of Springwood, and very experienced player, but he's having a lot of touches of the footy early.
Where's Glass? The oldest man on the paddock at 35. Chips the ball over the top. And finds a teammate. So North Queensland, they've worked it to half back. That was Barber. Well done. They just chip it down the line further. Gross. And just, was that a push out? Yes, it was, says the umpire. It'll go against Lamprell. And it'll go the way of the home side. Not sure where to go, though. And that man was Morrison. Just a little chipping ball. Is out of bounds on the full. So we're going to see quite a few errors here, I think, as players get used to things. That was Ty Williams underneath it. And North Queensland can load up yet again. And that's a nice mark there. Schlein. What can you tell us about Schlein there, Barry?
He's a young player out of Wide Bay. He's kicked 45 goals this season already, playing for the Bay Power, and really committed, driving down to come to the training session. So rapt to see a young player like that get his opportunity to play today. He's the only representative out of the Wide Bay region.
So Jake Warren was there with Aaron Davey. Very inexperienced Jake Warren, the grand scheme of things, an 18-year-old up against Aaron Davey at 34 years of age and about 160-odd games of AFL footy under his belt.
I think he might have caught him asking for an autograph a bit earlier. So.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Page just belts it forward, attacking the ball at both sides. Underneath there is Higgins. And the ball out of play. So we're going to have a good look at the stoppage. There's plenty of players around this, Barry. So what are you looking for to, I suppose, try and open it up? What are we? How are we going to find a bit of space here?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the coaches are trying to do. They're obviously trying to get as many numbers around the stoppages, which is making the issue. I'd be trying to pull some out of it and try and back yourself in offensively. That's what I'd be looking for in a game like this.
The ball tied up yet again. And amongst it was Meredith. Right there with him was Collings. The big boy Wilson. Collings, he got it. Now Meredith. A bit of an up and under. Garogo's there, but Zufa just got a hand on it. He's happy to tap it away out of bounds. So 11 minutes gone, just the one goal.
Interesting time for both teams, I think. It's going to be who can just settle, who can get some fluency, who can get a bit of linkage. I think that's what's going to change the game if the team can quickly find that, but no one seems to have found it yet.
No, Wilson just used his strength. Lake gets a handball off. Collins is there. Coming through. It didn't look a bit ugly off the boot there. It was Cass, but I was going to say taking a good mark. It wasn't paid, though. It was juggled over the line, adjudicated by the umpire. We'll have a throw in again.
Cass has a bit of NEFL experience with the Sydney Swans. He's based up in Townsville now, a soldier in the army up there, so great for him to have another opportunity at the higher level.
Simpson took front spot. He was grabbed in the ruck contest, so he'll win the free kick. Oh, that's a terrible handball. A terrible handball, and that's a throw for mine. I'm not sure how Zufa got away with that one. And the play on is the call. And off the ground goes Davey, but it only ends up with Watson. Watson goes out wide, has Jack Lake. Lake has a man on the outer wing. That's Schlein. Schlein with a bit of space in front of him, just chips the ball up. Amory is the target, but coming through there was Schollard. Schollard gets it off to Amory now. He wants to get back around inside, gives it back to Schollard. They're messing around with it here. Amory there, put it on the boot, they all say. Right to the teeth of goal. Well done there. Collins is there, just on the boot quickly and puts it through. Now, there's a little bit of discussion as to whether it was touched or not.
Umpire's given the all clear, I think.
And I think the goal umpire seems reasonably confident, if you ask me, Barry. What do you? I thought she was reasonably confident.
It's a long debate. It's called touched.
Touched.
Bit of a change. That certainly didn't look like initially they were going with the goal.
Well, 1-1, 7. Garogo. He couldn't take the ball with him. And tackled off the ball, so South Queensland will win the free kick. It'll go to Jacob Watson with Aspley, and he's seen some NEFL experience too.
On his home deck.
And quite a lush deck it is too. It's in fantastic nick is Graham Road. Up towards the big targets, up forward for South Queensland. Can't take it. Good set of hands there from Philo. Now the ball, a little bit of space, comes out. It goes high. That was Schlein on the left foot. And just mopping it up there was Ezekiel Frank. So North Queensland just holding firm, although that is not a good kick. And Schlein takes the mark and can go back Collins is pointing him to the goals, and he doesn't seem very confident. Has he got the distance, do you think?
I'm not sure. There's they're very, very skinny legs on that young man. He's handed off to Zufa, who will make the distance, no worries at all. Gives it a whopping thump.
Yeah, right to the goal line, and they'll be happy to concede here, North Queensland. So 1-2-8. North Queensland can bring it back into play. Just need a little bit of system getting it to half forward. The boys from the north. In the back pocket. And just there is Newman. Takes a nice mark. Played on when he shouldn't have. So that's just a little bit of over-exuberance, one would think. Coming through there. That was the big boy in Saxelby. Boy from Caloundra. And the ball over the line. And just thought he should have done a little bit better there.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge here for the North Queensland guys is the game always just seems to go a bit quicker than what they're used to, and I think it always just takes them some time to adjust. But I think once they get that adjustment, I think we'll see them get back in the game. But both teams have had the same number of inside 50, so other than the scoreboard, it's pretty even.
Kelleher just tapped it, looking for the advantage of another player. Zufa just stands up, delivers the ball, but only to North Queensland so they can bring it away. And then they just butcher the ball. And Artis it was, and then 50 metres because I believe he encroached upon the protected zone.
Yeah, I think he thought he was playing on, so he come in from behind in an attempt to smother, but the umpire obviously didn't see it that way and said 50 metres.
And Michael Artis, the Cooperoo King.
Little bit strange territory. Predominantly plays deep back, but likes to run and carry a bit. So this will be. He wouldn't get too many shots on goal.
Yep.
I wouldn't think.
You back him?
Absolutely.
He just pulls it. My commentator's curse, that is. That's called. Welcome to the commentary box, Barry Gibson.
Yes, maybe it's my ties to North Queensland.
So North Queensland, they plunge. Go up the middle of the ground. Well done. Finds Philp. And Philp just settles it, looking for a deliberate target. Comes out wide. Has a player there. Not too bad there. And was Artis got in the way there. And it was DeBetta that was the man who was trying to get himself involved. Meredith does well. Here's Chappell. He's wrapped up. That's not going to end well for him. And he's a little bit further away from goal than he's used to, trying to find the footy.
Yeah, different territory for him, playing at such a dominant team, and he sees so much nice football coming out in front of him, so he's going to have to work really hard today. It'll be a good challenge for him.
So the ball to the commentary wing, and Kelleher takes a mark, although it doesn't get paid a mark, and then he just handballs it over the boundary line, so that is deliberate for mine every day of the week. And he felt a bit under pressure there, and the man...
It's Cass.
Taking the free kick. Yep, Josh Cass. University Hawks from Townsville. And the ball inside forward 50. That's a nice spoil on that occasion from Hartley. And we'll have a throw in. So opportunity for North Queensland here to, while the ball's inside their forward 50, to really try and impact the scoreboard whilst we are counting down to these 20-minute quarters.
They're getting a lot of footy. They're getting as much footy inside 50 as their counterparts, but they just can't get any system or structure around the ball.
So Bell, who's the man coming through. Well done. Lovely pick-up by Philo, although he is legged. I thought he was going to break the tackle. Couldn't quite get there. Goes out wide. Boardman's there for South Queensland. On the hard lead, coming out and taking a nice mark there was Tom Watson. Right in front of the eyes. He's up. Page is the target. Goes over the back of everyone. Simpson's there, but also there for North Queensland was Barber. He feeds the ball off, and they'll raffle it here. The kick came from Glass, and I thought they were going to mess it up just for a moment, and they mess it up now because Philo's interjected from the kick, and inside forward 50, and he messes it up because I thought they were going to get an effective mark inside forward 50, not to be. Glass comes out. They will get it out. Here's Frank. Frank on the left, looking for a target. Can't find one. So a litany of errors as Boardman takes it and gives it to Page. Page at half forward. Zufa's the target. Goes over the back. Hooper has the run of it. Can't quite get it just at the moment. Then goes over the top. It's up in the air. North Queensland look to spoil it and rush it through, and they've managed to do that now. So luck's a fortune for NQ. And South Queensland 10 points now in front.
So North Queensland really struggled to get any connection from their D50 into the midfield, so they're going to have to really address that, I think, at the break.
So Boardman gets the handball off to Holt. Inside forward 50 over the top of Zufa. Trying to get involved there was the North Queensland players. Glass, Frank, now the run of Skip Gribben. Goes out wide. Looking for Gross. And right there with Gross was Williams.
Played that very well, Williams. Just got some body on him early. Gross is a real goal kicker. Probably a little bit further up than he likes to play normally. He likes to play inside 50, so I'm sure they'll be happy to force him up outside of his comfort zone.
And again, as a defender, it's always good to initiate a bit of contact to try and push your forward off the ball early rather than have your forward trying to knock you off the footy. The ball back into the middle. Kelleher just pushed everybody off the ruck contest at least. One coming through was DeBetta. Couldn't take it with him. Gribben with a little bit of leg speed. Gets it. Gets around one. A little bit of open room here. Now he gets it off to Lamprell. Lamprell, dangerous spot. Garogo can't take it. And Chappell picks it up, but the siren sounded. And not a flattering scoreboard for anybody just at the moment. Plenty of chances. 1 goal, 4 for South Queensland, and North Queensland yet to score, but you'd suggest that they've had quite a few opportunities inside forward 50, Barry.
Yeah, North Queensland went inside forward 57 times. South Queensland went in times 8 times. So they've obviously got a little bit better structure and system down there. The North Queensland forward 50 looks really crowded, and actually that bit of play then was the first time DeBetta came out, really attacked the footy, took possession, and actually first time it looked like they were going to score, and then Lamprell obviously chose to centre it. But I think their biggest challenge is their connection between their mids and their backs and trying to get some decent footy going forward. And if they can't address that, I think they're just going to keep going inside 50 and it's going to keep rebounding. But Brad Cooper, a really smart coach, measures the game very well. He'll go do his KPIs, and I'm sure they'll make some adjustments and address that really quickly.
Well, the structures will be addressed at quarter time by North Queensland coach Brad Cooper and, of course, the South Queensland coach in Danny Craven. We'll take a little break and we'll be back with you for the second quarter very shortly. And welcome back to Graham Road here at Aspley for this rep game between South Queensland and North Queensland. Mark Kennedy joined by Barry Gibson, and at their first break it was South Queensland 1-4-10. North Queensland yet to score, 20-minute quarters, making it a little bit difficult. But Barry, it was a game full of congestion in that first quarter.
Yeah, and I think that's probably going to get a bit of that with players not knowing each other and not being used to structures and not too much time to prepare. But I did notice that North Queensland coach Brad Cooper went straight to his forwards because they've got enough footy inside 50. So I reckon he'll try and work that out so they can try and isolate Chappell a little bit more. So I'll be interested to see how they set up to start this second quarter. But South Queensland, I reckon they'd be reasonably pleased. Probably just turn the footy over a few times. So I reckon Danny Craven would have really focused in on that.
So Chappell just starting out of the goal square, Gribben down deep. So a little bit of structural change. Aaron Davey half forward. And as we just about to get underway, it'll be Wilson and the big fellow in Simpson, and it was the former that got the ball. North Queensland go into attack. First up, Kennedy. Under pressure, just coughed it up. Aaron Davey goes around the corner. I'm not sure about how deliberate that was. And the umpire says, I'll throw it in. I think he's lucky to get away with that, Barry, to be honest.
Yeah, great pressure from Woad. He came out and just that's what I think Brad Cooper wants from his small forwards. Don't have to get a lot of the footy, just put the pressure on, and that's how Davey got the footy there. So they'll be pleased with that. Good clearance by Newman out of the middle.
And Kai Chappell had a bit of an opportunity there, but stuck the one mid out, couldn't quite grasp it. Simpson had front spot there, coming through as Boardman. Pressure from Davey was good. And South Queensland, they'll try to clear. That was Morrison involved. Kennedy, who just went around on the ground. That's not real flash, and that's a high tackle. So North Queensland will get their opportunity now. And just trying to pick up that player, Barry.
Struggling to see myself. It's a long way out there.
Yeah, it is a long way. We'll pick that up. I do have the binoculars on him. I just can't quite pick him up. I'm sure we will. So North Queensland, their first real viable opportunity at goal. And it's a miss. So only 1 point is the result there. So narrow the margin to 9 points. And South Queensland will bring it back into play. Up towards Simpson, and the big boy in Wilson just kills it.
He is one big unit. I thought Simpson was a big lad, but Wilson is a very, very big unit.
Yeah, look, he's been busy bench pressing a few cars by the looks of it. Big barrel chest, and built like a brick outhouse. Ball back into play. Just muscles Simpson off the ball. Garogo gives the handball away. Off to Higgins. Higgins out towards Wellington. Wellington was the man that actually shot for goal last time. Up inside forward 50. Zufa was the man. Well done there by Gross. And South Queensland, they just towed it off the ground and try and clear the area. And it came the way of Jacob Watson. Watson tried to put it out wide. And interjecting there was Wes Glass. And the ball tied up in amongst a few. And it'll be balled up. So opportunity for North Queensland there. And good opening for them.
Really solid player, Wes Glass from Port Douglas. Just week in, week out, I know up there he's Mr. Consistency, and that's why they always go with him with this North Queensland team.
And of course, the oldest man on the ground, 35 years of age.
I did mention that to him today when I caught up with him, and he just chuckled.
Oh, well, age is only a number, as they say. So it's why he is still absolutely happy as Larry running around, not caring what anybody else says, because he still feels good. Ball comes out. That was Newman in the way there, and out of bounds it goes.
See a lot of congestion, a lot of players around the ball, but it seems to be a lot of forwards inside the North Queensland 50, whereas at the other end of the ground there's only the one player.
So when did these two sides? When did the North Queensland side get together for the first time, Barry?
Today at about 1:30 they met each other. They all flew in this morning. So, yeah, tough ask for them, albeit 15 of their players are from Cairns, so they've got together a few times in the last couple of weeks.
So down the line goes Williams. And a free kick will go the way of North Queensland. Frank gets the advantage, kicks it in and finds Gross. And Gross goes long with the left foot. And that is not a good kick because just backing back there and getting in the way. Well, South Queensland, that's not a good kick to try and clear either. Chappell feeds the ball out, tries to get a quick kick away, and it was a combination of Brett Meredith, Aaron Davey. I'm not sure who will be credited to, but a little bit of soccer there from Davey at the finish. I think we might have to give it to him.
Yeah, it looked like Davey just socketed it out of the air, and a much-needed goal. Whilst they're only a goal down, it was a much-needed goal because they've had a lot of entries inside and had them converted. So that'll just give him a bit of confidence now, and I think already you can see there's a little bit of better structure in the way that they're setting up. Mass interchange is going on here. Danny Craven, South Queensland, he's really known for high rotations and a bit privy to his board, and I know that they're rotating really heavily throughout this game.
So the margin just 3 points now, 1-4 for South, trailing or leading the North, 1-1-7. Inside forward 50 is Wellington, up towards Chappell again. Davey goes off the ground again.
Two in a row from the former Melbourne best and fairest winner, and that's why he's in the team. He's in the team to kick goals, and alas, he's kicked the first 2 goals for him and looks very dangerous when the ball's at ground level as he comes to the interchange for a spell.
So more so lucks of fortune, that one. Just threw the foot at it, but through practice, what do they say? The harder I work, the luckier I get, and he's a hard worker, there's no doubt about it.
Interestingly, they went inside forward 57 times last quarter, didn't score. They've been in 4 times and kicked 2 goals, 1 this quarter, so they've obviously made the right adjustments.
Well, they lead by 3 points now. They hadn't scored in that first quarter. Warren has the ball, gets it out. Well, Philo just tries to get around his man, now eludes him. Just Simpson will try and get away from one, stops, and then has his kick smothered. He'll go again, except he can't take it with him. And that looked like a trip on Philp, but now Wellington, inside forward 50, well done, finds Gribben. Gribben, left foot, looking for Chappell. Kennedy with the spoil. Overrunning it on that occasion was Cass. Now South Queensland can clear, but I don't know for how long because the big boy in Wilson just throws it out there. He looks like one of the Scott boys on about 10 lots of steroids.
Great call, he certainly does.
He puts it to half forward. That looked like a push in the contest. Not to be paid, says the umpire. So the man with the football is Lamprell. Little worm burner inside forward 50. Gross couldn't handle it. Off the ground. Now with the footy is Newman. They're still holding on to this, so they're keeping it alive. Lamprell again has his kick smothered on that occasion. Philo gets involved. And the ball just worked back. Williams over the head of Zuffa. And right in front of us here, the ball will be out of play and thrown in, and South Queensland all of a sudden under a bit of pressure.
Yeah, Philo's getting his hands on the footy for South Queensland. Impressive play out of Maroochydore. 2013, 2015 played in the Bendigo League with Golden Square, and the games I've seen him this year, he's been outstanding around the clearances.
Simpson had front spot, got the hit away. Collings just handballed it straight to the opposition. And that man was Glass, and Glass gets the ball up and finds Lamprell. So a little bit of momentum starting to really flow North Queensland's way. Right to centre half forward. Chappell comes out to meet it and takes the mark. Has he got the journey here? He doesn't even try, just puts it in the path of his teammate. Gribben it was. Kennedy just slapped the ball away. Frank's there, but it went off the ground for South Queensland. And what are they going to do? Are they going to come away with it? They might just escape with it. A lovely handball on that occasion by Schlein. Releases a teammate, now to half forward. Up towards Hooper, right on forward 50, out of side. And he likes himself, clearly, because he reckons, yep, I've got this, boys.
He's the man on the mark's about 49 out as he goes short and finds Schlein, who's ran on really well from down half back, and he's about 40 out, so this will test him out in the pocket here at Aspley.
Well, Schlein. There's not much of him. He's a bit slender.
He is, but comes with big raps, the young fella, and wasn't even in the squad initially, but chose to drive down and join in training, and I think he caught their eye and was duly rewarded.
So about that 6'1" range, 19 years of age, on the left foot, right to the line, and that is a good goal. So South Queensland back in front through the agency of Matthew Schlein, the only boy from the Wide Bay region, from the Bay Power, And that's a good answer for South, Barry.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And great to see a young guy from up that way getting an opportunity to play at this level and to have an impact. And he's clearly having an impact. He's had a fair bit of the footy, and to push on like he did then and to kick a goal was a great reward. So really happy for him. And I'm sure there's people following him up there on the live stream really enjoying his work already.
Well, what impresses me is his running power. He's certainly been happy to get involved down back and then really work hard to get involved as the ball's gone down forward. So Simpson again. Garogo. He just got a man fell over the top of him. There's Page. And plenty of players on hands and knees, one of which, Johns, I think it might be underneath all there. And also there is McLean. And trying to put the suplex on and pin 1, 2, 3. Umpire says no. We'll start again.
Page is in the middle now. A big moved him off half back.
So good pressure by North Queensland. Keeps it in there. De better. He just got offloaded. And again, the tackling pressure of North Queensland is just worrying South Queensland. Garogo's in there and we'll have a ball up. The umpire will ball it up. One of the three almost look like crop circles in the middle of Graham Road.
Yeah, DeBetta's a good story. Played in the first year in 2014 and then had an ACL and a few other injuries. So to come back in the fifth year and win a spot is really good for him.
Ezekiel Frankie just has to mop up a little bit of sloppy work from the back end. Well done. Nice mark there by Cooper Barber. Up in the Mackay Footy League. And Whitsunday Eagles. And that is an infringement into what's been called the demilitarised zone, and a contentious issue inside that protected area. So that's 50 metres.
That one was 50 metres every day of the week, and young Warren lost his way, and he was clearly in the protected zone. So the right decision by the umpire on that occasion.
So Cooper Barber kicks it in and finds Bell.
Mitchell Bell.
And that was just poor checking by South Queensland, the way they went about it. But credit where credit's due to North Queensland.
Yeah, he's a quality player, this guy. He's had a really interrupted pre-season, and then he got interrupted once he got playing, and hasn't played too many games for the Whitsunday Seagulls, who sit on top of the ladder in the AFL Mackay. But I've watched him play a few times, and he's a quality player, although that wasn't a quality kick.
No, it wasn't. And interestingly, it was Cooper Barber and Mitchell Bell combining, and they are both from the Whitsunday Eagles. And great to see that unfolding. Artis, I'm not sure about that kick. That's just a little bit sloppy the way they've gone about that. And out of bounds it is, so it'll be a free kick because it wasn't touched by the South Queensland or anybody there. So Higgins it'll be with the football. And the pressure's showing, isn't it, for North Queensland? They are getting results.
Yeah, they've just lifted the intensity to around the footy, North Queensland, and I think that's why they're getting their hands on it first up.
Oh, the umpire has suggested that it came off a shin or something like that, or it touched a player. So it will be a throw-in. I thought it was a free kick every day of the week. I didn't think anybody touched it. Did you have a view of that one?
I'm with you on that one. I thought it was a free kick straight away. But young guy's closer than us, so we'll back him in.
That's it. Simpson just had the run of it there. Meredith on hands and knees. Gets it back. And there was Higgins involved there. Now South Queensland can come through. Page. Now, the chain of handballs, Boardman to the run of Zuffa. Doesn't mind a little bit of running action. Now to Hooper. Zuffa to Hooper. Zuffa runs on. Gets it across there. That was not a great kick by Hooper. Involved there. They just had the run. They had the look at it. Now the run comes for Lemper. And Zuffa puts the smother on. So backed it up and kept the ball inside forward 50. Hooper just went off the one step. He really needed to settle and go back a couple more because Zuffa was there every day of the week.
Yeah, he turned his back and didn't see Zuffa until it was too late and then tried to make that correction. So I think next time we'll see him do that. But great hands by Boardman, put Zuffa into space.
Kelleher and also the big boy in Wilson. Give it to the ladder. The ball gets ricocheted back the South Queensland way. Picking it up there was Higgins for North Queensland. And he gave it to a man under pressure. And it was lucky it wasn't holding the ball. And the umpire will ball it up. And sometimes you want to share it, but you just do so for the sake of doing it, even though you're going to give it to somebody that shouldn't get it.
Yeah, spot on. Great tackle pressure by Hooper too.
And going around the corner was Josh Filo. And that is a lovely goal. He has been busy through the midfield. Now he's bobbed up forward.
Yeah, very impressive. Just he moves really well. I watched him play Caloundra a few weeks ago from Maroochydore, and just fantastic around the stoppages, and he accelerates, and you can see him there in the stoppages, quick to get to his feet, got the ball on the boot, and they really needed that because I think all the ascendancy was played to left of screen, so to speak, in favour of North Queensland. So great game, nice and close. Let's see if North Queensland can bounce back here with 6 minutes to go and before half time.
So 3-4, 22, North Queensland 2-2-14. Here come North Queensland. Running onto it is Wellington. Unable to take it though. There's Watson's there who can repel. Zuffa on that familiar left foot. Played one game of AFL football against Port Adelaide. And then was not to be seen at that level again, unfortunately. Ball inside forward 50 for South Queensland, but North Queensland take a mark. And doing well there was the old man, Wes Glass. We shouldn't call him that. That's a bit rude because he's playing like a spring chicken.
Wouldn't worry, Wes, mate. He's pretty casual. Not too much bothers him, I don't think.
The ball needs to find a teammate. Is that out on the full? No, says the umpire. That just was McEwen there who had the ball. The umpires confer yet again, and it'll be a throw-in.
You can see clearly what's going on here. They've got South Queensland got inside their forward 50, and they've pressed right up to try and congest it and give no outlet for North Queensland. So I'll be interested to see how they transition this out.
Wilson and Kelleher. Wilson. Pressure around the contest. Zuffa on hands and knees, going at it. And Kelleher put in a nice headlock there. No harm, no foul, says the umpire, because the ball was right there. There was no malice about it. And the man with him there was Philp, co-captain. Wilson again. It's been good. Philp puts the tackle on. And that time the tackle was on Holt.
Fantastic player. Phil played in the first year, 2014, and missed last year with an ACL injury, but yeah, just a really hard-working player in the stoppages, and I think this is his fourth game for North Queensland.
So that was a illegal block in a ruck contest. I'll find Kelleher. So South Queensland. And he is clearly looking at the top of the goal square. In fact, and then he just butchers the ball. Made a fool out of me. Meredith takes the easy mark, and North Queensland are away. Running onto it is Barber. Now there, he'll get it now, Barber. Just flips the ball around. Bit of waxing. Wellington just bobbles it around, and then, now they've just messed it up. And South Queensland can get it going their way yet again. And now inside forward 50. Kelleher. He had the run of it, couldn't quite take it. Now the kick came through right to the goal line from South Queensland, has rushed through for a behind. So little errors. They've been able to take the ball out of defence, and then they just try one too many handballs. Yeah,
credit to the last 5 minutes. I reckon South Queensland have turned up the heat, and the pressure around the contest has been really good.
So Gribben came through the middle of the ground. Kennedy just beat Chappell to the fall of the ball, then his hands just let him down there. North Queensland, they have it. Wellington, Gribben runs on now. There involved is Barber, but coming the other way nicely. It might have been Watson. Philo's there and just dances around a couple. Happy to feed it backwards. Artis. And then he turns it over. Gribben tries to get through with running power. Wade. Wade right down deep. The better's there. Does the ball stay in? Yes, it does. Gives the ball inside. Gross is there. Gets a foot on the ball, so play on is the call. South Queensland, they can mop up here. And 2-on-1 contest. And it's well done there. Collings it is. It's it off. And it was Williams who interjected. Should call him Wade. Apparently it's Wode.
It is Wode.
My bad typing skills, as Collings has it. Or in fact, it was Lemper for North Queensland. And the ball ends up just laterally to Philp. As the light's starting to kick in here as well, making just viewing a little bit difficult. Ezekiel Frank just gets there before Ran Hooper did. Now they've got a bit of run and space here. Garogo just trying to measure a kick, going up forward. No mark is paid. Zuffa mops up at ground level, uses that running speed. Schlein on that left foot. Gets it forward of centre, but that's a nice mark taken defensively, and that's taken by Johns. So a bit of up and back, a bit of foursome backs, if you like.
Out of Tasmania, Johns played with the Kingborough Tigers last year in the State League, and he's having a great year up in Cairns.
And North Queensland into attack again. Gross is there. And over the boundary line it goes.
Inside, they've been inside 7 times now, North Queensland. Probably really effective for the first 4, but haven't scored in the last 3.
That's where I like Wilson up forward in that ruck contest, because he can use his bulk and just put it into the path of a midfielder if they can. Bit of a set play here. Wilson, he won the ruck contest like I thought he might, but nobody there to run onto it. Plenty of players around the contest. And the umpire will ball that up. Underneath it was Page. And go again. Closing stages of the second quarter. It was Collings with a quick kick out of defence and too high on Schlein. I like what he's done.
He's been very busy.
He goes up in ascending number order to Zuffa, and that kick by Zuffa wasn't his greatest kick, as Lemper took the mark right on the halftime siren, where we see South Queensland. They lost their lead from quarter time as North Queensland kicked a couple of goals in quick succession through the agency of Aaron Davey, both off the ground, and South Queensland answered through Schlein and also Philo to lead at halftime 3-4-22 to North Queensland 2-2-14. How did you see that first half, Barry?
Yeah, certainly dominated. The first 10, 12 minutes was in that second quarter was dominated by North Queensland. The first quarter dominated by South Queensland. So I think they got a little bit back, but then South Queensland, just their experienced guys, Zuffa, Page, they just steadied them at the end there, and they lifted the pressure. So, but for North Queensland, I think they've got a bit to work with now. They've seen what they can do in that second quarter, and they go in reasonably confident, despite that they're trailing by 8 in the score. Danny Craven, he'd be reasonably happy, but I think that he'd think he'd be a bit more efficient with the football.
Well, of course, South Queensland is striving to become the first side in these now 5 meetings, it's the 5th meeting, to actually have a win on the home soil. So a fair bit to play for, not only pride, but just to break that hoodoo. Yeah,
and we haven't had a close game. The first year, I think it was 4 or 5 points. And since then, we've had blowouts, so we'll be really looking for a close game today. And by all accounts, it looks like we're going to get that.
So 8 points is the margin here at halftime, Graham Road. We're going to take a break as the players do so also, and we'll be back with you after this break for the second half of this game between South Queensland and North Queensland. And Graham Road is the scene for this rep clash between South Queensland and North Queensland. It's half time here, and it is South Queensland leading 3-5-23. 9 points ahead of North Queensland 2-2-14. Mark Kennedy joined by Barry Gibson. And Barry, you're the man of the people. You're down at both dressing rooms. What were the messages coming out of each of the dressing rooms?
South Queensland, they just want to be a lot cleaner with the footy. They reckon they're winning enough footy, they're just not clean enough with it. North Queensland, they think they're not connecting enough from half-back, so they want their forwards to hit up at the footy more, and they want to really work the angles and maybe lower their eyes and go a little bit shallower than always going deep. So they were the clear messages, but North Queensland from the outset, they've been focused on the stoppages, similarly South Queensland. So I think both teams think that that's where the game's going to be won and lost, so expect that to be tough in and around the ball.
So the umpire holds the ball aloft. Middle of Graham Road, we're underway in this second half. Now it's Williams for South Queensland, just pumps it in long and it falls to the back. Schollard just runs onto it, and that's a wonderful opening for South Queensland. You saw the defence for North Queensland coming to crunch the ball, but if you're going to do that in the marking contest, you've got to make contact, don't you?
And that's why Schollard is so dangerous. He's playing full forward, but he knows when to go and he knows when to stay down. His man backed himself in and went, he stayed down, got the easiest of easiest goals, and obviously that's a really big one. That opens up a nearly a 2-goal lead now, so North Queensland, they're going to have to work really hard because conditions are going to get a bit slippery. I walked across the ground at half-time and it was already starting to dew up. So I think the next goal is critically important for them.
Here we go again, umpire, middle of the ground. Simpson again. He likes the ability to jump against Wilson. North Queensland, they take it out of the middle. Good punch there from Jack Lake. Now getting onto it is Meredith for North Queensland. Inside forward 50. Over the back it goes. Page is the first one there for South Queensland. Just dribbles the ball out wide. Well done. Chain of handballs. Finds Morrison. Morrison, a little bit of room to move at half back. Chips the ball, looking for the lead. And that was down the ground, was it?
Yeah, downfield. Got pushed after he kicked it, so paid down the field.
And that's just a little bit of ill discipline, not helping the cause. And Kelleher it is who'll take the free kick. Just forward to centre on that outer side. A little bit difficult to see now as night falls, as the lights are taking hold. Into full forward it goes. Over the back again. No Schollard there again, or not this time at least. And that was Johns, gets it out and finds Garogo. Still it in the back pocket. Little chipping ball. Nice mark taken there by Newman.
Works hard, Newman. Gets around the ground, but I think he'd like to have that kick back.
Yeah, just a bit too high. Ezekiel Frank, he looks like he's been pushed forward now. Unable to pick it up there was Wode. Coming through there is Filo. Just gets the foot on the ball. Schlein lays a tackle on the opposite number 13 in Higgins. Now they're finding a little bit of space, North Queensland. The handball from Philp. And now they take it inside forward 50. Wellington it was. Oh, big fly there by Chappell. Couldn't bring it down with him. Going out wide is South Queensland. Doesn't quite hit the target, but there's an extra man there. And up towards half forward they go. And that is Watson. Watson quickly. Right up forward 50. And Zuffa. And if I was a betting man, which I am, I reckon he'll back himself to kick this. Doesn't mind a fair old roost of the footy, Daniel Zuffa.
Yeah, he'll run out on the arc and try and get a little bit of extra leverage here, and I reckon he's a fair chance.
A thumping left foot, he generally is. He goes out on that arc, as Barry Gibson said. He's put it across the face, and right to the goal line it is. Kept in, North Queensland have it. They'll bring it out of defence now. That was Wellington with the kick. It looks like it didn't find its target, and that was absolutely correct as Kelleher goes inside forward 50, and the spoil was deemed to be illegal.
And that was exactly what Brad Cooper spoke about, their connection when they're coming out of the back half into the midfield because their forwards aren't hitting up high enough and they're kicking to the players from South Queensland that are pressing up, so he'd be quite frustrated about that.
It was McEwen that gave away the free kick. So South Queensland, kick for goal. It's a long kick, and it's over the line. Quite pick up who that player was that kicked it.
So it's young Jakey Warren out on the far side, had the shot on goal, I think.
Yeah, Yeah, so it just extends South Queensland's lead to 16 points as North Queensland and bring it back. Zuffa just puts the big fist onto it, almost like a big volleyball spike. And the ball out of play.
He's been really influential tonight. Zuffa is just a smart footballer, and they can throw him in various spots wherever they need him. And he just does the little things really well.
So just reiterating that 20-minute quarters. The first 3 quarters and then 17 minutes time on the last quarter. So North Queensland will just have to get a little bit of time and space. That's holding the ball every day of the week. And just a good strength there by the tackler of Philo. And that might have been DeBetter, I think, is it?
No, that's Higgins from the Glenmore Bulls. Outstanding tackle too. Just really strong in the core there.
Oh, that's a good mark coming through there.
Jeez,
lovely pair of hands from Lamprell.
He clunked that.
Didn't he? What? And a half forward, Chappell just went through his mitts. Getting back there is Gross. He goes off the ground now. DeBetter, he's the first man there, picks it up. The pressure came. Page for South Queensland, can't take it with him. Now emerging with it was Artis. Oh, dangerous kick, but they find a little bit of space. What are they going to do? They'll get it going wide. Man with the ball is Morrison. Elects to go backwards. So they can't afford just to mess around with this too much. Zuffa it is. Little worm burner. He'll turn it over, Willie. There, underneath it is Boardman. Simpson's there as well. The umpire says, give it to me instead. So dangerous play there. And under these conditions where the dew's falling, it's probably not the most conducive way to take the football out of danger.
Yeah, good pressure there from Jason DeBetter, better known as the Ferret from Townsville. Done a good job to trap the ball in there.
And Gribben runs onto the ball, and on the left, he emerged from the scrimmage unchecked and kicks a lovely goal for North Queensland. And Skip Gribben brings the margin back to 10 points, 3-2-20 North Queensland, South Queensland 4-6-30.
Against the flow there, Kanga. All the flow was going with South Queensland. They got that inside forward 50, as I said, good pressure there by the likes of DeBetter to hold the footy up, and they benefit out of that. And I think that's what they really need from their small forwards, is particularly now as the dew starts to come in and the ball stays more on the ground, of trying to hold that footy in and give themselves a chance to kick a winning score. So critical goal for them, and they're right back in the hunt here.
That they are, 10 points. Simpson wins the hit out. Is it over the top to Warren? Just trying to run onto it there was Boardman. Couldn't take it with him. Warren there again. Boardman feeds it up. Collings, that handball wasn't his best effort. Ezekiel Frank, he just handballs it the other way, looking for a player, and the chipping ball was taken there by North Queensland. They transfer play. Garogo it is with the footy. Goes over the top. Chappell's the target. 1-on-1 contest. Kennedy's right there with him. Page feeds the ball over the top to Simpson, although the ball just hit the ground and Garogo was coming hard the other way. Artis was there. Warren just buffeted off the ball. Collings, and he is absolutely set upon by Gribben and also by Barber, and we'll have a ball up.
Lamprell doing a great job for North Queensland, hitting up at the footy, but Kennedy doing an outstanding job on Chappell deep.
Newman gets it deep. And the ball right to the boundary line beside the point post goes out of play. So that's, in the grand scheme of things, that's not a bad result for North Queensland there.
Yeah, they need to keep the pressure on here, but South Queensland, I think they're doing a fantastic job of defending every time it comes inside their defensive 50, and they'll need another one of those efforts right now.
So critical contest in this game. Simpson went to the back of the pack, over the top. That was
Wellington.
Wellington, yeah, the man from Cairns Saints had an opportunity. That he has. That's a big kick out of full back. 2-on-1 contest with North Queensland. Well, in fact, it's 3-on-1, so they've got the numbers there. The ball ends up. That's with Cass. Involved there was Lamprell as well, but a scrimmage ensues. And what's going to happen here? Gross gets it, feeds it back. Lamprell again. Dangerous kick. Plenty of players for South Queensland there. Here's DeBetter, the Ferret, you call him. And he was in and under, but couldn't kick it out of his own shadow. Wellington on with the check side kick across the face. And 1 point. So they're piling on the pressure.
Putting the pressure on their smalls, are doing a good job. And interesting, watched them practice this move at training the other night where Morrison kicks the footy into himself and tries to clear the arc and put some pressure back on the other way. So I'll be interested to see if he does that again here.
Well, they are set up in a zone-type defence here, North Queensland. So he kicks it in as you envisaged. And let us know, that's the voice of Barry Gibson. The expert commentary here this afternoon, or this evening as we're coming into it. Lamprell's underneath there again. And players, stacks on the mill, will have the ball up 65 metres from North Queensland's goal out of side.
8-point margin here. Seems to be all being played to the right of screen at the moment for North Queensland. So South Queensland keen to try and get a bit of ascendancy back as we get deeper into this quarter. So
Boardman into the middle of Graham Road. Well done there. Good mark there by Conway. A few Bronx cheers. Was it Bronx cheers or a cheer squad going his way?
Yeah, he's an ex-Wilston Grange boy now playing up in the Capricornia League for Bits.
So Philp, he got the kick forward. And that was a good mark there by Hartley. I've liked the way actually he's gone about it. And that is just poor teamwork. That's a lack of connection. And this will pile the pressure.
Yeah, Hartley's been a really good player for a long time for the main footy club. Reliable, rock solid, and that's why Danny Craven was really keen to have him in his back half.
So 8 points the margin. 10 3/4 minutes into this third quarter. Only 20 minutes. Almost an uncontested situation there. That was Bell who was involved. Ball to centre half back for South Queensland. Trying to come through. Now might release here. It's Collings with the good handball. Over the far side. And now picking it up there was, I think that might have been Kennedy. It was. And the little chipping ball doesn't find its target. And Meredith can mop it up for North Queensland. On hands and knees there was North Queensland. So they're going to hold on to it. Lamprell is the man. He chased the ball, but it beat him over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in half forward out of side. North Queensland continue to attack. Yeah, the slippery conditions is just starting to sneak in now. You can see players starting to second grab at the football and slipping over even a little bit. It's quite a lush field here at Graham Road. So I think teams are going to have to work really hard on their ground ball. Ball back in. Simpson. He's almost gone alone in the ruck so far this evening. Meredith, he's over the top of the ball. Now he tries to break. In there is Cass. And the ball emerges. Going the way of North Queensland. Lake's in there. Boardman feeds the ball up. Kennedy just tries to feed the ball out. Under pressure. Good tackle there from North Queensland. They keep piling it on. Lamprell it was. And now the ball goes right back in the middle of Graham Road. On there and wrapped up was Lemper. And plenty of players in the contest. In fact, it's a high tackle, so South Queensland will win the free kick. It's Williams. Goes down deep. Over the back. Got over the back of Schollard. And right spot at the right time, Ran Hooper. Yeah, he's got his hands on the footy when it's actually come near him, Ran. He just hasn't had too many opportunities where it's come near him. So I think this is a really important one for him. He's the sort of guy that can kick 2 or 3 quick goals. So if he goes back and he slots this, he'll be up and about, I can guarantee you, and he'll celebrate it. So on the left foot, he pushes it out to the left. We'll have to wait for that celebration. That we will. And that's a bad miss. In a really, I suppose, settled situation, a chance to put the score on the board. And that was Wes Glass. Kick the ball in, goes out wide. Ezekiel Frank with a Manunda Hawk. Hello to everybody watching in Cairns or wherever you are around Queensland. Johns from the Saints. And they're just running the ball with a little bit of flair, although that illustrates a little bit of the Jew. Davey, he's involved there. The tackle comes on the North Queensland player. And it's all tied up. Aaron Davey pulls his teammate up in Brett McEwen. Yeah, quite a lush field. They resurfaced at the start of the year, so they've got a good coating of grass on it. So players are going to have to be really careful with their footwear tonight out here. It's going to get slipperier as the game goes on. So Zufa has his kick smothered partially there by Garogo and falls harmlessly out of bounds, although going the way of South Queensland almost at the 50. Been going 14 minutes now. Still
only an 8-point game, so anybody's game.
So ball back into play. Big boy Wilson just taps it down towards the boundary line again. That was just about out on the full. I thought umpire was just on the other side of that, and he adjudicated it. No, it wasn't, so I'll have a throw in instead. So 8 points the margin. No winner of the ruck contest. Taking the contact there was Wode. And a little indiscriminate handball came from Barber. And that's just knocked after he got the handball away was Kelleher. So Josh Kelleher, the boy from Caloundra, will take the free kick. And it's opened up here. Jack Lake it is. Brother Rory is assistant coach of South Queensland. Now over the top. It's finds its way to the outer side. So at half forward, that was Watson. And the lead. The hard lead came from Schollard. He butters up. The ball at ground level. Tackle comes and the ball's tied up. And Schollard is just introducing himself to his opponent.
I think the smalls of both teams are going to be really busy between now and the end of this game, just with all the slippery conditions. So I'd be interested to see how they manage their rotations to make sure they keep those guys around the footy.
That was a lovely pick up there by Meredith, but the kick didn't match the pick up as Jack Lake's got it at half forward on that outer side. Just motioning as to where he wants players to run. Instead, he just pulls the ball back into the middle and finds Zuffa. So Zuffa will look to come out down the middle. Simpson with the big fly. Can't take it with him. Ball at ground level. Hooper spins out of one. Wasn't sure what he was going to do with it. And in fact, he didn't get a foot to it at all. North Queensland, they might be able to clear here. What are they going to be able to do? The man are emerging with it. And the kick didn't find its target there from Johns. Eventually, they'll get it out, but not for long because it's Collings who can load it back up. Goes inside forward 50. The spoil came from North Queensland. Now they've got a little bit of space. It's Wode. Gets the handball away. And North Queensland, they can settle it down here. And it's Philp. So Philp plays on. Goes up towards Chappell. Over the back of him. And well done. Good gather there from Cass. And spinning out of trouble. Had to get his kick away quickly was the North Queensland player. Gets it up towards Gross. Just led with his head. So play on was the call. And plenty of players around this contest. Cass is there. Follows it up. Gross is there. And holding the ball is the call. And it'll go North Queensland's way. As just deemed to be hatching it there was Hartley. And now to Chappell. Gives it off. And the kick from Philp was spoiled. So a few errors there just creeping into this game as pressure mounts. Boardman gets it out. Garogo. Now off. And that's Philp again. Right down deep. Gribbon it is. Trying to run onto it. He'll have to swing it around as far as possible. And he can't do it. Just to the near side. I thought for a moment that was going to get there, Barry Gibson.
Just a point there. Good effort, though, and he looks like he might have tweaked an ankle in that process as he come down on that snap as they bring the ball back in deep outside the 50.
So Holt had a little bit of time. Goes down the line long. He has a player clear, and that player is Watson. That's Tom Watson. Goes down deep. 2-on-2. Schollard! That's a very, very good contested mark. And when your ball goes down forward one-on-one contest, those are the types of things that will win you games.
And that's what he does exceptionally well. He reads the footy really well. He knows how to position himself. And because he's an undersized forward, he's really smart at working his man under the footy. And as you said, that was a fantastic contested mark. And a really big kick in the context of this game. 7-point game. With these conditions, that every goal is going to be really vital as we head close towards the end of the quarter.
So 2 for Schollard becomes 3. And South Queensland re-extend their lead. They got out to 16 points at one stage, and now it's back out to 13 as we played nearly 19 minutes of this third quarter. In the context of the game, is this a match-winning lead, Barry Gibson?
I wouldn't think so. I think we've seen how quick Aaron Davey kicked 2 goals there in that second quarter, so they'll know that they've got the ability to kick quick goals, and on cue, Aaron Davies been shifted into the middle, so they understand how important this last minute is. They can't afford to leak a goal here and need to get the ball forward.
So 20 minutes flat are the quarters, except the last 17 minutes plus time on. So not long to go in this third quarter. Ball just skipping around in amongst players. Davey gets it out, going North Queensland's way. Well done, just coming out to meet it there. Was the North Queensland player into better, the Ferret, and the spoil. The big spoil came from Rowan Page, a man from Springwood, the 26-year-old. Only 179 centimetres, but give it a fair old heave-ho with the fist.
Yeah, one of the smartest players run around in the QFA Div 1 competition. He can play every spot on the ground, and I think you see today with him and Zufa, Danny Craven's throwing him around wherever they need him.
Ball back into play. Only seconds remaining in this third quarter. Burrowing in both sides. And there's the siren, three-quarter time. And the margin at the last break will be 13 points as South Queensland 5-6-36 lead North Queensland 3-5-23. Goal kickers, 3 to Mitch Schollard, 1 to Matthew Schlein and 1 to Josh Philo. While for North Queensland, couple to Aaron Davey and a lovely goal in that third quarter there from Skip Gribben. How'd you see that third quarter and the context of this match?
Yeah, again, I think it was similar to the second quarter. North Queensland had all the play, were working hard. Their small forwards are doing a lot of work, but they just couldn't seem to convert. And then South Queensland go forward a couple of times and kick just really good goals through, I suppose, some individual brilliance. I thought Schollard was a bit of individual brilliance the way he marked the footy and kicked that goal. And look, I think it's going to be a real challenge for North Queensland to come back here. Both teams went inside 58 times that quarter, which really showed the balance of the game. But it appeared from sitting up here that North Queensland had a lot of the control. They just can convert their opportunities, and I think that's where the focus will be for them. Whereas I think for South Queensland, I reckon they'll be looking to try and kick the first goal and really apply the pressure from there.
Well, we'll let both sides get their messages. An important one for North Queensland. They try and get back into this game. They're 13 points adrift. Danny Craven, he'll be just trying to marshal his troops for one last effort, and we will take a break and come back with this last quarter here from Graham Road with South Queensland leading by 13 points. And as the two teams leave their respective huddles, one a little happier than other, but the other certainly far from out of it. And the one that's happy is South Queensland because they're 14 points ahead. The umpires have just adjusted the scores, 5-7-37. North Queensland, all the work to do in this last quarter, 3-5-23. Barry Gibson joining myself, Mark Kennedy. And what would you do if you're the North Queensland coach here, Brad Cooper?
Well, you've got to win the game. You're not here to defend it. There's not premiership points at stake. So I'd be shuffling the magnets a little bit. I'd be trying to isolate their forward line a bit better in terms of getting some more one-on-ones, and I'd be getting Aaron Davey around the footy. He's obviously got massive experience at the elite level, so get your best players around the footy and play on it every opportunity and just try and get as many inside 50s as you can. I think that's the way I'd be going about it.
So the first three quarters were 20 minutes flat, no time on. This quarter is 17 minutes plus time on. So if it gets close, we're going to see that added extra time. It could go anywhere as we're underway now. Simpson, is it going his way? The man with the football was Philp. He got it going inside his forward 50. Just with the leg speed there was South Queensland player in Hartley, but the handball was smothered by Davey, who was able to keep it in the forward 50, and that's what North Queensland will want. They'll want to just ramp up the pressure and take advantage on the scoreboard.
Yeah, great pressure by Davey, and another clearance by Philp, I think, has been really good.
So the ball will be thrown back in. North Queensland attacking. It's a short throw. Page, he ran into his own player there. Now they'll have it another go. And it is Gross with the kick, and it was exactly as the name suggested. It was a Gross kick, out of bounds on the full. Not his best effort.
No, and he's a known goal kicker. He's kicked 40-odd goals this year up there for Port Douglas, so he'd be disappointed with that.
South Queensland, they can bring it back out. Kennedy's underneath it. Well, in fact, it wasn't Kennedy. It was Hartley. He's been a solid defender tonight. He goes out wide, finds Daniel Zufa. Loves to get on his bike, and he loves to get on that familiar left foot. Going up high was a North Queensland player. They're trying to get the ball out. South Queensland, they're working hard here, just trying to push it forward. Just wriggling out of a tackle. There was Lemper, but he had his handball smothered, and the ball spills out of bounds. He
sort of only came into the team later in this back end of the week, and I think Danny Craven would be super excited about having him in. He's been really solid as usual.
So at half forward, out of side. Simpson with Wilson, and the brick outhouse, he wins it. That's Simpson. That's Wilson, if you didn't know. Almost confused myself. Wrapped up in a very good tackle there was Watson. That's Jacob Watson, and that's gone. Opportunity presents itself for North Queensland.
Jack Philp again. He's been tough in the clinches tonight, as he has been every other time he's played for North Queensland. So,
well, he's had plenty of the footy, hasn't he? He's been pretty good. Garogo down deep. In contest, Ezekiel Frank takes a very good mark there. Plays on quickly, chips the ball in the middle of the ground. Well done. Finds Newman. Goes in the middle. Philp again. Philp puts it down deep. And backing back there was Hartley. It's it off to Page. Now across to Watson. Watson, short kick. They're just working this nicely up the outer wing so far. South Queensland. Zufa just took front spot from Garogo, and then ball hit ground level. And then the 2-14s, that's Zufa and also Wes Glass. Two veterans.
Yes.
Go at it.
The team defence of South Queensland has been really impressive, prepared to leave their man and cut across in front of Chappell. Obviously, that's something that premeditated, but they've done an exceptional job of that today, and he's hardly had a run at the footy all day.
So Garogo, he was deemed to have run out of bounds deliberately by the umpire, and then was unhappy with the decision and then just threw the ball down. So 50 metres going South Queensland's way. That is a critical error under the circumstances.
Yeah, the context of this game, if he kicks this goal, he's not going to be feeling too great about that decision to drop the footy on the deck.
And the man with the white boots is the man with the left foot, is the man with the captaincy's badge, I think it is. Is it? Looks like Daniel Zufa to me. In fact, it isn't. I'll pick that up in just a moment. But the goal is kicked nonetheless.
Gee, that's a costly error. That's a really costly error when you're outside 50 and you come inside 50 and get an easy shot on goal, particularly in the balance of the game.
Well, that it is. And I'm just waiting for this player to turn around to actually identify him. But it is a goal, and that makes it very, very difficult for North Queensland.
Might have been Philo, I think.
He's been pretty good as the scoreboard's just gone a little bit AWOL yet again. A little bit difficult to pick up as we'll play on. Wilson gets a tap away. Coming through, if you don't mind, with great vigour was Artis. Trying to funnel it out there also was Watson. And scrimmage it is.
Massive challenge now, Kanga. 20 points down. 5 gone already in this last quarter. They're going to need to do something special here in North Queensland if they're going to take home the win.
And that was good spotting by you, Barry Gibson. It was Philo, the goal kicker. Let's pick that up. Here's Philp. Handball over the top. Gross. It's the ball inside. They look like they've dropped one back, have South Queensland, because Hartley has the numbers. Oh, gives the handball across. Across to Saxelby. That kick doesn't work real well, and Lemper has it. Goes in the middle of the ground. They have the numbers. Boardman's right there. Wellington was looking for the 50 metre. And in doing so, all his runners just ran past him. So just need to a little bit better from that point of view. With a good stretch on that occasion is Lamprell. Loads it up. Looked like he sliced it a little bit out to the other side. Gribben was there. He had the sit and just put the knee into Jason Kennedy and just pushed him under the football a little bit, and he was able to take it on his chest. He swings around, and that is bounced out, or has the umpires paid a 50-metre penalty?
Another one.
Yep, another one. So Gribben will be able to kick the easiest of goals, and that will be number 2 for Skip Gribben and keep North Queensland alive. So they kick a goal, they move to 4-5-29. South Queensland 6-7-43. The margin 14 points.
Been really impressed with Lamprell. He's really hit up at the footy high out of their forward 50, which has created a bit more space, and a situation like we get there is where all of a sudden some of the defenders are having to come off their man a bit to try and help out. And as you said earlier, Gribben's looked dangerous all night and took a really good mark.
So the ball up in the middle. Philp's there. Boardman tried to lay the tackle, but Philp was too good for it. In the clinches there. And that's a free kick. It'll go the way of Holt. And the big boy in Mitch Bell gave it away. So Holt goes long down the middle. Ezekiel Frank had front spot. Just spoils it nicely. And Cass upended. The ball stolen away by Boardman. Boardman goes deep. Shollard's there. Can't grasp it on that occasion. Well done by the defender there in Johns. Johns has a man over the top. It's Gross. Gross has a bit of space to move. On the left foot he goes. 2-on-1 contest. Over the top of Lamprell. There is South Queensland just using their hands. Hartley couldn't handle it. Coming through and getting absolutely poleaxed was Morrison, if you don't mind, by Lamprell, and the ball spills out of bounds.
Yeah, great pressure there. Good to see, the veteran Aaron Davey. He's done it at the elitist level, and he's still putting on pressure and leading from the front. Fantastic example to the younger players.
The ball will come back into play. 14 points is the margin. Bell and Simpson. Give that one to Simpson. Well done there by Barber. Lay the tackle. Ball at 50 now for South Queensland. Garogo running onto it. What can he do? And now, well done there by Artis. Just kicks it out to the far side. The run of it is Jason Kennedy. Goes on his preferred left to another left footer in Zufa. Zufa You go down to half forward, kicks to Filo. So Maroochydore. Those 3 possessions there. And they go up towards Schollard, also from Maroochydore, but beaten to it. And just spinning out of trouble there was Bell. Chain of handballs. NQ can get out of trouble here. Ends up with Ezekiel Frank down the wing. Intercepted here by Jason Kennedy. Quick handball. They'll just try and settle here, South Queensland. Here's Schlein, just off the left foot. Goes up high. Unable to get it was Filo. Zufa just gets in there at the right time. Coming through there is McLean. McLean, short little kick, doesn't find its target. Warren's there. Slips as he kicked, as he was tackled at the same time. Now Ezekiel Frank, they can settle the ball down. And Philp goes down that outer wing, 2-on-1. Chappell has had no opportunity at all tonight in terms of having a little bit of space.
Not at all. I think Kennedy's done an outstanding job. He's been there every time he's put his arms out. He's had a fist in. And similarly, I think Ezekiel Frank down half-back for North Queensland has been fantastic for them in defence. So good to see a couple of the key defenders having great games.
We don't get a lot of raps, defenders. More a forwards game, if you ask me. Bell got it down. Cass kicks it inside, right to forward 50. The ball came from Hartley. Davey couldn't take it with him on that occasion. Jack Lake will help mop it up for South Queensland. Schlein. Now to McLean. McLean down the outer side. Over the top it goes. In North Queensland, Philp. Falling over there was the big boy in Watson. Tom Watson, that is. Then they concede North Queensland, and Gorogo it is. They can just steady the ship a little. They need to attack, though. Out there is the big boy in Cass. And they can bring it to centre half forward. Gross has the ball spoiled away by Hartley. Front and centre was Barber. And the kick came off the side of his boot, and getting in there was Jake Warren. They've just had the answers at this point so far.
They've worked back really hard on defence this quarter, South Queensland. They've got great support, and then they've connected coming out, and I think that's been the difference so far.
Big Simpson just kicked the ball down. And Watson gets the handball over. Filo, he just dropped it. A little bit of slipperiness getting to it. McLean just slipped a boot to it. Well done there by Boardman. Ends up with Collings. Collings down deep inside forward 50 and run. Hooper with a diving mark in front of Gorogo.
Great experience in. You just seen him. He just checked his opponent, felt where he was, extended the arm, gave himself a little bit of space, and then slid into the chest mark. And this is a big kick. I think if he goes back and he slots, this is going to be a long way back for North Queensland, because I think right now they're still close enough, but this could put it a little bit too far away. He's about 40 out on that trusty left foot of his, arcs around, goes bang! And the umpire puts up 2 fingers, Kanga, and says, thank you very much. That's another one.
And that is the first for Ryan Hooper. And of course, 57 games for the Brisbane Lions, albeit a long time ago now. And that just about puts a dagger right to the heart of North Queensland, as South Queensland move to 7-7-49. North Queensland 4-5-29, so 20 points the margin. And we have played 12 and a half minutes of this last quarter, 17 minutes plus time on. And of course, shortened format because this is rep footy. And I suppose it entices players to play a little bit more, knowing that they don't have to play a full game. A little bit of a shortened version of it, Barry.
Yeah, we want to try and keep them as fresh as we can under the circumstances. And we also know we've got a team that travelled on the day, so we don't want to put a full game situation on them. Now,
Filo has the ball inside forward 50 and shoots for goal. It looks to be across the face. That's not a bad result for South Queensland. They'd be happy with that. Love the lead-up work of Jake Warren there. Little number 1. And he just slipped out of a tackle, got up, handballed the ball off, and ended up getting in the hands of Filo eventually.
Good young player, Jake Warren. He's been plying his craft up there at Maroochydore, and great reward to see him as an 18-year-old get a chance at this level.
A couple of games with the Brisbane Lions in the NEAFL. It's a bit of an academy top-up at one point, and also had a run with Redland, I reckon, last year in the NEAFL. So Wellington, middle of the ground, can't find a target. Gross coming through his Cass. Well done to him. Just waxes with Barber. Now Cass, centre half forward. Coming out to meet it there. Page had front spot in front of Gribben. And Page gets it back going his way. Just comes off the nipples of one of the South Queensland players. And he is penalised accordingly. And that player was Jaden Holt. So a bit of a disappointing outcome for him. But the man taking the ball is Cooper Barber. Goes out wide. Wes Glass. Short little kick. Wellington. Chipping kick inside forward 50. Just reaching up there was Watson. Now gets it off to Jack Lake from defence. Goes up the middle. Finds Tyle Williams. Wheels around out wide. Has a player with plenty of room out there. And that's Jacob Watson, I think it is. It was Tom Watson, the other Watson involved. And the kick was a beauty. And finds Mitch Schollard further away from goal than he usually likes it. And that you can tell that because there was a shocking conveyance of the footy. Here's the Ferret, the better. I've taken on the nickname Barry Gibson's given him.
Yeah, he's had it for a while.
Now Lake back inside forward 50 and taking the mark is Joseph Emery from South Burnett.
They've just been a lot cleaner with the footy, but what they've done really well this quarter is they've got numbers back behind the footy and they've transitioned it out a lot better than North Queensland have, and really smart coaching by Danny Craven. Had a score and rolled one back just to protect that.
So Joe Emery, 29 years of age from South Burnett, gives it a ride right to the goal line. Punched back by North Queensland. Coming through, Garogo and Frank. And Frank, pinpoint pass, finds Lemper. Short ball, Wellington. They need to move the ball with urgency here. They do that. Davey. And gets it off to Philp. Now they can put it inside forward 50 or right to centre half forward at least. Lamprell goes deep. Chappell's there, but the big fist and the saving fist of Jason Kennedy gets in the way, and out of bounds it goes.
He's been absolutely outstanding. For the amount of times that the footy's gone in the direction of Chappell, and he's been all over him. So fantastic performance by Kennedy, and a young man, only 19 years of age, to play against an experienced player like Chappell. I'm sure he'll be really happy with his own performance, but more overall the team performance.
Not a bad result for North Queensland in the sense it didn't go through for a point, so they're going to have a chance to keep it down this end. Watson and Kelleher. Watson with brute strength, and off the deck went Davey again, hoping to get it through. Chappell has it right on the goal line. Gives it around, and little chipping ball back finds Wellington, and that was a little bit crude. They push on the marking contest. It was Declan Woe that kicked it to him, and Wellington go back 45-degree angle. He'll have to kick it from about 40 metres.
Yeah, very clever by Wade. Could have been selfish and tried to snap it around the corner, but went backwards and found someone in a better position.
So Cade Wellington, the Cairns Saints product, kicks it errantly.
It's a shame because he's had a really solid game, Wellington. He's had a lot of the footy, and would have been so nice to get some reward on the scoreboard.
So Artis kicks the ball long with the left foot. Lamprell with the big spoil. Davey just tried to bat it to the advantage of his teammate. Meredith, little chipping ball, finds Philp. They've called a play on now. Into the path of Frank. Loves a goal as Ezekiel Frank. It looked like he pulled it though. And cut off nicely by South Queensland defence. And Page ends up with the ball. Oh, they might turn it over here. That was falling over was Williams. And Wellington, he'll have another chance, and that's going to skew across the face, is it? And out of bounds. So a little bit of sloppiness starting to come into the game as we've now played 18 minutes, or 18 and a half minutes. So time on. We're officially into time on.
Don't think we'll go too deep into time on either. We haven't had a lot of goals scored, so I think 21 or 22 minutes might pull us up. So we've probably got 3 or 4 minutes to go.
So what can North Queensland produce the last few minutes? Wilson had front spot. Ty Williams had his kick smothered. Page just tries to burst through. He's gone as far as I'm concerned. Umpire says no. Davey wasn't happy because he was the tackler. Umpire says, I'll ball it up.
Aaron Davey had a look at him and said, do you know who I am?
Well, let's not get too presumptuous, but I think he was very unlucky. Wilson, handball smothered by Chappell, gives Gribben a chance for number 3 for Skip Gribben, and he gets it. So well done to Skip Gribben, and that was his 3rd for the evening. He got the goal assist there by his co-captain tonight in Kai Chappell, and it narrows the margin somewhat, but I don't think it'll make too much of a difference as the margin is out at 13 points.
Great to see North Queensland persevere, and obviously they can look up the scoreboard and think it's certainly beyond them now, but to stick at it and to score a goal late, full credit to them. Having travelled down here today, I'm sure some of them are feeling a little bit weary.
So away we go again. Closing stages. Kelleher, handballs. No great feel for who he's actually trying to give it to. Just legged there was the North Queensland player. And he'll take the free kick. Kicks it to the advantage of a teammate. Well done. Wellington started being pretty lively, particularly in the last 3 quarters. The ball up, down, deep. Gribben again. Well done there on that occasion by Page. And the crafty defender was happy to see the boundary line.
Both teams have certainly given their players plenty of time on the pine. Lots of rotations. 5 on the bench for both teams today, and they've really turned over the turnstile, so to speak.
So Simpson comes on to the ground to run down to battle with Wilson. Simpson's better running at the ball. Wilson is just stands and delivers, and he does so on that occasion again. Meredith almost dragged off the football. Play on, says the umpire. Meredith goes again, goes in hard. Wellington's also in there, but now tackled, and fiercely so. And there's a little bit of feeling all of a sudden. It was Simpson that laid a pretty heavy tackle on him. The umpire just balls it up and says, let's go, let's get out of here. Wisely letting it bounce was the South Queensland player. And then Aaron Davey, he laid the tackle, and it was a high one. He doesn't like it, but winning the free kick, I think it might be. Geez, and it's 50 metres too, which is disappointing.
Bit of frustration from Aaron. 2 free kicks that he probably think he might have been on the wrong end of, and obviously told the umpire what he thought, and the umpire hasn't appreciated that and said, let's go for a little jog together.
So with the kick there was Holt. Holt inside forward 50. We had to meet it there with Schollard. Only handballed it to an opposition player. What on there? Chain of handballs. Gross. Philp, who was the intended recipient. Instead he handed straight to Simpson, and Simpson gives it back. And Bell, it was that just took the mark. Puts it wide. Higgins gives it back. Garogo. It was a late inclusion this afternoon for Jordan Chapman, and the kick of his finds to better. Hermit Park Tiger.
A little bit of bias for me, mate, the mighty Hermit Park Tigers.
I'll take it that Barry Gibson has an affiliation there. The turnover came, and it was Emery who got it off. And the man with the ball has kicked 3 goals in this game and will line up for number 4. That is Mitch Schollard, 26 years of age. Saw his parents down there before the game.
Tough angle, 35 out. Geez, this would be a great goal if he kicked it, and probably just reward for the game that he's had. He's really made the most of his opportunities today. He's an impressive player. Confidence
not an issue for Mitch Schollard, and that's why.
And he had the celebration to boot, so you called that well.
So Schollard has 4, and I suppose in the context of this shortened game, you'd call that a bag, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, and it goes on top of his 67 goals that he's kicked from just 13 games this year for Maroochydore. He's having an outstanding season, and he's going to take them really deep into the finals, and he's shown his skills tonight. As I said, he's not the biggest full forward, but geez, he's smart and he knows where to find the ball. So not long to go now with 23 and a half gone. Here deep in the last quarters, the umpire throws the ball up.
Simpson over the top. Philp. Well handled there by Collins. Ball inside forward 50 for South Queensland. Hooper. He just couldn't quite find a teammate. He saw an opposition player very close and he panicked a little bit, I think. Where's Glass? And he can get the ball out to the outer side. Bell. They have numbers here at North Queensland. Can they get a late consolation goal? Attacking the ball right on forward 50 is Aaron Davey. Little chipping ball out wide. And that finds Tim Lamprell.
It was clever then by Wade out wide. He brought it back inside rather than going to the teeth of goals where they've gone. It's continually been defended. And obviously you'd kick it there knowing Aaron Davies there. And again, Aaron Smart didn't blaze away. Just found his teammate to go back and have a shot from about 40.
So the 34-year-old from the Cairns Saints coming off the very long run. Lines it up from 45. It isn't going to make the distance right to the teeth of goal. And the short kick there came from Skip Gribben. He stayed down. The ball just fell in his arms. And that is 4 for Skip Gribben. So matches Mitch Schollard up the other end. And he has been dangerous anytime he has been around the footy, particularly up forward.
He's been outstanding. Just, again, a bit like Schollard. He's made the most of his opportunities. He's undersized, but just worked really hard. And he's obviously a very smart footballer. And he's got the long flowing locks living up there in Port Douglas, and the name Skip. I reckon he's a bit of a local legend.
He'll have a bit of a skip in his step after 4 goals. Loves a bit of the man bun action. And that is the final siren here at Graham Road for this rep football clash for 2018. It is South Queensland breaking the duck, breaking the hoodoo of a home side not winning these rep contests as they run out 13-point winners, 8-7-55 to North Queensland, 6-6-42. Barry, I'll get your thoughts in just a moment after I give the goal kickers for the winners. Mitch Schollard has 4 goals, Josh Philo got 2, and singles to Ran Hooper and also Matthew Schlein. While Skip Gribben, we just spoke about him then, 4 second half goals, including 3 in the last quarter. And the only other contributor on the scoreboard was Aaron Davey with a couple of goals. How did you see this contest, Barry?
Yeah, I thought it was tight all night. I think the scoreboard, they got out to 20 points at one stage, South Queensland, but all night I felt that the game was really close. The inside 50s were really even. I think the difference for me at the end of the day was South Queensland were just a little bit cleaner with the footy, and they transitioned out of their back half much better than North Queensland. But both teams had their opportunities. There was a lot of players that really stood up when it counted, but I think South Queensland were just cleaner all night around the contest and used the ball better. So I think that was the difference in the end. It could have went either way, but obviously they benefit from just being clean of the ball.
Now both sides get to present their best player and their medal or best on ground. If you were in that position at the moment, have you got any thoughts about who might be that player on each of those sides, or who might be in the running at least on each of those sides?
Yeah, for South Queensland, it would be Kennedy. I think the job on Chappell was outstanding. The ball, as I said, the ball came in there a lot. Both teams averaged around 8 or 9 inside 50s a quarter. So he did an outstanding job. I think he kept Chappell goalless. Lots of big spoils. So for me, Kennedy was their best. Number of Gribben was obviously outstanding. I thought that Ezekiel Frank was really good down back. But for me, for North Queensland, I like Philp. I thought he was really good. Worked his backside off and gave him a lot of chances to get into space. And for you?
For me, I really liked the work of Jack Philp through the middle. I thought Cade Wellington also put in a lot of hard work. And I didn't mind a little bit of the work of Lamprell at various times as well. For South Queensland, that was North Queensland obviously, I thought Philo had a pretty good game. And also, like you, I think you can put Mitch Schollard as a match winner in that conversation. And also, Zufa was pretty important. I thought Dean Hartley had a good game down back as well. And Kennedy, I thought he was pretty fair as well. So I think there's a good mix of players in the running for those couple of best on grounds and a prestigious award to really get in these rep games.
Absolutely. And look, and I'm just delighted with the scoreline. As I said, the last few years we've had blowouts, and it's always gone with the travelling team. So good to see the home team win. we'll be taking it back to North Queensland next year, and I'm sure that they'll just keep working really hard to try and get back into it. And Brad Cooper's a quality coach, and they've only gone down by 13 points and had their chances. But all in all, I think footy was the winner. Great game of footy, and two teams that come here and had a red-hot crack.
Well, as the teams mill in the centre of Graham Road here and shake hands, they've done all the pleasantries. I'm sure they'll go back into the clubhouse and have a nice function and maybe a cold beverage or two as they celebrate what was their rep footy game in season 2018. We might do the same, I reckon. Might be time to sign off. So thanks for joining us this afternoon and this evening, or into the evening, Barry Gibson.
Thanks, mate, and thanks for an outstanding call.
And on behalf of Barry and myself, Mark Kennedy, thanks for joining us here at Graham Road. It was South Queensland running away victors by 13 points. We'll see you next year for the next edition of Rep Footy.